Hi, this is a quick step-by-step soldering about bib. As you can see, I'm using the 3U panel, but it will be exactly the same if you use the 1U. First, read the build documentation and start. So first we're gonna do the SMD headers, like the two other 1U modules. It's the first step. You have SMD headers here for power 2. So first, let's remove everything we don't need for now. So here is the header for the power. It goes there. On mine is in that, but it will depend on the batch. Hop. And this is the SMD header that goes here. So first we're going to do the panel. So the idea for that is put a solder of only on one pad and reheat it when you try to putting on the SMD headers. The idea is to put it perpendicular to the panel. It's really important, and you need to have a good position. So once you solder on the panel with one pin, check the orientation. So first, put solder on one pin. Waiting soldering iron to heat. All right. I have solder on only one pin, so I will read it, and during this process putting the headers. Okay. Now verification. As you can see, it's not perfect. The header is slightly to this way. So I will read. All right. This is better. Okay, this is okay. So now I will put some solder at the opposite corner. All right, check the orientation once again. Okay, it's perfect. So now you just have to solder each legs of the headers one by one. On the side. Once it's done, check every solder. And if one of your solder is not perfect, you need to add solder or remove some. Do it slowly. I don't really like this one. I'm not sure there is soldering on the pad, so just reheat it. Alright, much better. So the panel is finished for now. Bring back the other SMD header. It goes here. So we're gonna use exactly the same techniques. Put some solder on only one pad. Now since we have solder on one pad, we reheat it and positioning the headers. Okay, let's check the orientation. Okay, it's really not bad, so I will put some solder on the opposite corner. Securize the soldering. Now, check once again if it's really perpendicular to the PCB and the position is good, and if it's good, now solder each pin. Once it's finished, inspect each soldering. It can be common on pieces like that to not have solder on the PCB, but only on the pieces. So if you see Imperfect soldering, don't be afraid to hurry them. Okay, perfect. So now the only things to do is remove the spare part on the PCB. It's really easy, you just have to gentle push them then, like that. Now it's time to solder this header. This is a through-hole one for the power. It goes there, and you have to solder off this pin. It's better to do what we do before. Start with only one pin, check the orientation, and after do the other. Beware because you have some really small component around and you don't want to put some solder on them. Check the orientation. As you can see, it's far from perfect, so I'm gonna reheat this pin and put it straight. Now it's way better, as you can see. So the opposite pin, last check, and do all the pin. Last check. Okay, this is perfect. So now, one by one, solder the pin. Once you're done, check, inspect every solder. If they need reheat, don't be afraid to do it. Alright, this is perfect. So now it's time for the header. So you need to cut this pin at the right place. So put it like that. Take appropriate tools and cut it. The other one. Like that. After this, these headers will go here. One of each side, like that. And the idea is this goes there. You have many things to do before to do that because you need to have the right alignment for the headers on this, or it will be really hard to put the two PCB together. So the technique will be the same. One dot of soldering on one pad. Check the orientation if it's really perpendicular to the PCB, and after the other one, recheck, and if everything okay, we're gonna verify we can put the other board on, and if all this work, we're gonna solder it. So time for the big headers. Let's put only one for now, like that. Like we do before, only one pin. Now, as you can see, it's really bad. So I'm gonna hit this pin and put it perpendicular to the PCB. Okay, watch. This is better, but not perfect. Okay, the orientation looks not too bad, but I have slightly space here and I want to remove it. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. So do the opposite pin. Now recheck. Alright, looks good. It's going here after, so. not too bad. So I'm gonna before do every pin on this one, I'm gonna do the same with the other because I want to verify the orientation on both, and the two PCB is easy to put together, and if everything is okay, I will solder all these pins because it's really hard if you already put solder on every of these pins to move them if you have a mechanical problem in assembly. So I will do the other same way. One first, as you can see, really bad. We're gonna fix it. Okay. Okay, this is better. Not perfect, but better. I will slightly move it once again. Okay, this is really cool. So now the opposite spin. Alright, looks really nice. So let's see how it works with the other. Okay, look nice and clean. So I think we can solder each of the pin. They are ready. Other side. Once you finish, inspect pin one by one, and if needed, don't be afraid to reheat them or add a little bit of solder. Okay, this is really nice. Check one last time. Everything going together. Perfect. Now, since we finished this side, verify we have all the pins in the right place, like that. And now solder all of these pins. Try one of each side for each pin, and verify everything is okay before do every pin, because as I say before, try to move or desolder all of those pins. It's just a nightmare to do. Okay, check everything. Everything is in place. Alright, so now we can solder every one of these pins. Other side. Now inspect one pin after the other. Check every solder is okay. If needed, rework on them. Look perfect. So you can now detach these two parts of bib. So now, next step is the mechanical step. So we are going to put everything on the panel, on this PCB and on the panel, and try to put everything together. But first, for that, we need to work on the knob. Okay, so you need to work on the pod because it's going to go here, and as you can see, it can touch the three solder you have here, so you need to remove this side. You can use any tool, but just beware when you cut it to not for children or your eyes, etc. Alright, not too bad. We just check because there are big pieces here, if it's work or if it's a need to do more. Okay, as you can see, it's not perfect, and I'm afraid these pieces can still touch the pin, so I will cut it more. Alright, this is way better. Let's try once again. Okay, as you can see, this is way better. There are now no chance for the pin to be touched. So now we need to place the other hardware, so the other parts and all the jacks, and don't forget here 4 pin. If you don't have cut it for now, do it now. So 4. For the jacks, as you can see, there are some chair holes, so one for these two and one for these two here. So let's put everything on. Okay, so now the idea is with this header right here, put the panel on, put everything in the hole, the two potentiometer, all the jacks, and the pin here. For the pin header, some found more easier to put it not full here and try to do this way, and other find it's easier to put it right on the PCB and do the other way. There is no good way. They try both if it's hard. This part can be a little tedious and tricky, so take your time and try to put the panel on. All right, once it's done, check everything. Okay. Black some in this. Voila. If you prefer, you can put this on. You don't have to tighten them too much, and we're gonna do exactly the same things for the jack nuts. All right, so put them on the panel. So once you put the nuts, tighten them with the right tool for not scratching the panel, especially panel like that where there are PCB trace on them. You don't want to scratch them. Once you're done, check everything is good aligned. Check you don't have tied the nuts of this spot too much, and we don't see anymore the pin here because you're gonna solder the 3 pin here. So if you tie them too much, it can be like that, and it's bad. So put it straight and don't tie too much the pin. So you can see the pin are clearly in the hole. So now you need to solder the 2 jack here, this 3 pin, the other knob, and all the pin here. It's long, so take your time. Try for go for the easy one first, like this one, for example. Beware of the very small component you are here. Don't put solder on them. Right, check one last time if everything is okay. So you can solder the 3 pin here. All right, now the other knob, check if everything is okay. Here it's not touching anything, so it's perfect. Do the knob. Okay, so now, okay, the 4 pin header is not perfect here, but it's all right. Just take every last thing. So now the 4 pin header here. Okay, on the remaining jacks. Whoopsie, as you can see, these 2 pins are not touching. So I will remove the excess of solder. Okay, this is way better now. And the other pin is not perfect too. right, so perfect now. Now this one. Alright, since now it's finished, inspect every solder. You don't forget anything and everything is in good shape. Alright, so this side is end. Now you have finished the panel. You can reinforce the USB-C on this one by this fooling this 4 hole of solder. And for the do-it-yourself heroes, and if you have some remaining pin, you can put headers here for the expander. I have no info on it for now yet. So once you do that, you only have to put everything together. Voila! As the other bib is ready to use, you only have to put the power. But if you want to update it, you can use USB-C and connect to your computer, and you drag and drop files like on Plinky.